In Japan, April 29th is a national holiday, Showa's Day, to celebrate a past emperor's birthday. Each year on that holiday, Fujiomuro Sengen Shrine in Kawaguchiko holds a Yabusame festival, in which horseback archers perform a traditional ceremony that dates back to the Heian period. And for the second year running, I was lucky enough to be given a front row seat of the action. This video is a bit of a vlog about my whole day in Kawaguchiko, so if you're only here for the Yabusame, there are timestamps below for you, so you can skip the waffle and info about the area, but otherwise, let's get going. Living in West Tokyo, Kawaguchiko is pretty easy access for me, as you can take the Chuo line all the way to Otsuki, then change onto the Fuji-Q Core line to Kawaguchiko. Alternatively, there is a direct coach from Shinjuku Station. It's an easier trip, but it's a little more expensive. That's what I took last year. I'm actually really glad I took the train because I decided to have a chat with the lady next to me after leaning to catch her clipboard that had fallen off her seat. I asked if she was on holiday and she said no and started to get out a flyer. Turns out she was there for work, as the announcer for the Yabusame festival. I only got the one midweek day off work, so I caught the train in the evening and arrived at the hostel pretty late. It was a pretty cozy hostel, and I had a nice meal and a few of the largest bottles of Sapporo I have ever seen in my life before heading to bed. The year prior, I'd been on a pretty long run in the morning, but this year it was only a mini run. I had much farther to go to get to the Yabusame this time, and I wasn't about to catch a bus, so I didn't want to waste all of my energy before the long walk. After my run, I showered, checked out of the hostel, and headed to Oishikoen to start my walk around the lake. The park was pretty busy, and I got to meet some nice folks, plus these lovely doggies named Roy and Riro that were kind enough to only bark at me once whilst I stopped to take some photos. Despite the park and photo spot area being busy, a 5-minute walk along the lakeside path was all it took to find some peace and quiet. Which is crazy because I found some amazing locations to snap some Fuji pics before she hid behind the clouds at 9 AM. Ooh, look, some lichen. A good sign that you should like and subscribe. This bridge along here, across here, all around here, behind there, behind there somewhere, back there, and next we're going just past this park. It'd be a lovely walk if it weren't for this bag. Finally, after my morning run and 2 hours of walking, I found a nice cafe to stop and get brekkie. This spot was great actually. I had to wait a couple minutes for a seat to become available, but it was an excellent sandwich, made better by the fact that it was really earned after that long-ass walk. It was about 11:30 by the time I'd finished, and the Yabusame festival was just getting set up, so I decided to head over. Once there, I picked up a sakura ice cream at one of the food stalls and hung around for a bit, watching the pre-Yabusame performances. I went up towards the shrine and stopped to take some photos of the horses, where I ran into Shindo-san again, the announcer I'd spoken to on the train. She told me, when I was done watching the opening ceremony at the shrine, to come find her and get a seat near her at the front. I headed up to the shrine to pray and get a new omamori to replace last year's, and get my goshuin. My omamori from the festival last year was looking a little worse for wears after a year on my bag, so I got the same one in a different colour, this cat one to protect against illness. There are 6 paw prints on this omamori, so this is actually a play on words. The kanji here, meaning 6 cats, is pronounced mubyo, which is the same pronunciation of these kanji, which means no sickness. Japan loves its puns. Then the opening ceremony took place. I don't like to take photos or videos of ceremonies in shrines for what I think are obvious reasons, but Okuyama-san, a staff member who had gotten me my seat the year before, snuck up behind me, tapped my shoulder, and brought me closer to the ceremony, telling me to take some photos and videos. I still didn't feel comfortable, so I didn't take many, but I was literally asked to by a staff member. I'd figured he'd recognized me and that was why he spoke to me, but turns out he hadn't. I'd just gotten lucky that he'd picked me out again as someone who'd be good PR. I let him know I'd already been reserved a seat by Shindo-san, so he led me to the area I was to be seated in. The staff members reserve a few seats for randomly selected foreign guests. I only know this because they forgot that some foreigners do understand Japanese and I overheard a conversation, but they want to get more foreign interest in Yabusame because foreigners are rich, they will help us crowdfund. You know what, fair enough, the yen is weak right now and preservation of culture is an important thing to fundraise for. It's just strange that they still gave me a seat despite knowing I earn yen. Maybe they saw my dad's old camera around my neck and thought I was an influencer. Culture and politics aside, I was sat at a front row seat between some Australian tourists on a trip around Japan and an ex-jet from the UK who was on a working visa and lived in the area. This time I had come to watch the Yabusame without my partner, and they faced the brunt of that, with the Yabusame about to become the Yapusame. Fun fact central around my seat. A quick outline. Yabusame is the traditional art of horseback archery, performed in 3 parts. The Tsubase, or test run, the Horsha, or votive shooting, and the Kyosha, or competitive shooting. As you'll see in the videos I took, the course is a straight line with 2 targets along it. Traditionally, Yabusame is performed along a 218-meter-long track with 3 targets evenly distributed, but I guess they just don't have space for it at this festival. Yabusame was historically performed as a prayer for good harvest and the health of the people, and is in the modern day primarily practiced under 2 schools, the Takeda School of Horseback Archery and the Ogasawara School. The archers are called ite, and they undergo years of training before they're even given permission to attempt the Yabusame itself. As you can see, the ite don't move up and down at all when they ride. I've often heard it explained as being similar to a magic carpet or a canoe. This technique is called tachisukashi, where they ride without sitting on or pressing their legs into the saddle at all, which allows them to stay still and better aim at the targets as they ride. Mongolian horseback archery uses a similar technique, with much smaller bows, which was more commonly used in warfare, whereas Yabusame is a religious Shinto ritual. The arrowheads are blunted, yet still pack a lot of force when shot with the large bows, or yumi. Now here is where some background knowledge in Kyudo or Japanese archery will be useful. I'm still intending to learn more about the differences between shooting in Kyudo and in Yabusame, and would like to actually film an interview with the ite next year when I'm a little more confident talking in Japanese. However, although I didn't film it, I was lucky enough to have a chat with some of the ite at the end. I asked if the bow differed between Kyudo and Yabusame. Although I didn't pick up everything he said, the man brought up the bamboo wrapping around his own bow and also said that the way the string is tied is a little different. I will absolutely do more investigating of this and would like to make another video next year when I'm more informed. Another easy to spot difference is that the ite wear gloves on both hands, and the hand on the bowstring does not have the hard thumb in the same way that it does in Kyudo. The 2026 Yabusame Matsuri in Kawaguchiko was the 47th year of the event having been re-established in 1980 after having not taken place since 1897. and they shoot under the Takeda school. Yabusame is traditionally only performed by men, but the restriction has been removed, and at this event, most of the ite were women. The previous year, the winner had been this woman, whose name escapes me, but she'd ridden incredibly smoothly and shot with insane accuracy. Most of the horses in modern rituals are Western breeds and much bigger, however this smaller horse is much more accurate to how Yabusame would have been performed in the past, with smaller Japanese breeds. Unfortunately, this horse actually tripped over the rope this year and fell over the rider. Thankfully, both were okay, but at the speeds at which the horses run in this performance, it was very worrying. Shindo-san reassured me after the event that the ite are taught how to properly fall from their horses, which is again, something I will have to ask more about in a future interview. There are 2 rounds in this event. In the first round, they are shooting at typical diamond-shaped targets sat atop a bamboo pole, and in the second round, they shoot at a ceramic strung from either side with the intent to break it. There are 3 shrine staff members sat beside each target, and if the ite hits the target, they signal as such. There are a few styles of Yabusame, but the Yabusame Matsuri uses what's most accurately described by the Yunde-yoko style, in which the ite shoots targets directly to the left, whereas other styles might have targets on the ground to the left side, or on the right, for which the ite must twist their body across the horse with the bow to reach. There was someone else sat near me in the foreigner corner who could understand bits and bobs of the announcements, and we were collectively trying to figure things out. One thing we both noticed mentioned a lot but couldn't figure out was Gaijin no Shiki. Gaijin means foreigner, and Shiki means ceremony. We wondered if we were about to be sacrificed. Maybe we were about to become the targets. Nope, I later learned it means victory ceremony, so we followed the ite up the hill to not be sacrificed. So, thus concludes the info dump. We are back to vlog times now and some information about Kawaguchiko itself. I would appreciate you watching to the end of the video and all, but if you're just here to learn about Yabusame, I hope you did learn something new, and please let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in an interview video with the ite in the future. I headed back up to the station area and did consider going to Arakara Fujisengen Jinja on my way home to check out this iconic view, but Fuji had been hiding all day, so I figured I'd just hang around the station for a while and grab some food. Whilst walking, I went past this famous Lawson's. Since a photo went viral a few years ago, tourists have been packing themselves onto this street to get their versions of it. Here's where I have a little rant. Overtourism in Japan is not the problem. Overtourism in specific areas is. I only stay in Kawaguchiko to see the Yabusame, and as much as it's a lovely place, you can very clearly see the problems. Most of the buildings in the area are hotels, most houses converted into Airbnbs or holiday homes because tourism has made it far too expensive a place to live for most people. The few locals that do still live there are then subjected to people behaving like this, overcrowding their town paths and jumping out onto the road, blocking their commutes, while stopping to take photos and leaving litter around. If you're considering adding Kawaguchiko to your travel plans, I'd recommend against it unless you're there for something very specific, and if you are, stay in hostels, which are more space efficient, or maybe in large hotels that wouldn't otherwise be houses, I guess. For the love of God, don't stay in an Airbnb. Plus, these photo spots? 1 million people already have this photo. What is the appeal of taking the same one again? Here are some photos I took in areas where there were absolutely no other pedestrians, and I didn't have to stand on the road to get them. I'm not pretending I'm perfect here. I stay in Kawaguchiko, so of course I am part of the problem. It's about attempting to negate your impact as much as possible, be respectful, and do your research. Okay, rant over. I ended up grabbing a late lunch at the same cafe we'd been to the year before. A lovely place that tourists tend not to go to thanks to the lack of flashy posters or quirky dishes. I had a spicy veggie curry, a coffee float, and a lovely view before catching the train to head back home. No riding the Naruto train this time, but I did pass it. Okay, thank you for watching. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, though it went in a few different directions between vlog, info dump, and angry rant. I've asked the Kawaguchiko tourism staff if there is a link to any crowdfunding for preservation of Yabusame as a cultural practice, so if I get that, I'll link it below. If you've ever seen Yabusame performed, I would love to hear your experiences, so please let me know. Otherwise, hope you have a lovely day and learned a little something from my info dump.